At 3:14 a.m. on a cold Tuesday morning, Commander Alex Wilson's coffee cup slipped from his fingers and shattered on the floor of NASA's Deep Space Listening Post. No one in the room noticed. All eyes were fixed on the main screen, where a pattern of signals pulsed with terrible meaning. "Play it again," Wilson ordered, his voice rough from 20 hours without sleep. The technician nodded and restarted the sequence. Strange clicks and hums filled the room. 3 days earlier, the giant radio dishes in New Mexico had picked up what seemed like random space noise. Most of the team had wanted to ignore it. But something about the pattern had bothered Wilson. The signals repeated too perfectly to be natural. He'd ordered full analysis working through the weekend while his colleagues said he was chasing ghosts. Now, as Monday turned to Tuesday, the computer had finally cracked the code. No one was calling him crazy anymore. "It's definitely a message," said Dr. Judy Baker, lead cryptographer. Her normally steady hands shook as she passed Wilson the printout. "And it's definitely meant for us." Wilson scanned the first page, then the second. His face grew paler with each line. The decoded message told a story that seemed impossible, but the star maps and technical data included with it were too accurate to be fake. "The Galactic Empire," he whispered, "is real." According to the message, an alliance of 17 advanced alien species called the Galactic Hegemony controlled most of the Milky Way. They had been watching Earth for centuries. Now they had made a decision. Humans were too violent, too divided, and too unpredictable to join their empire. Earth had been marked for cleansing, complete destruction. Their attack fleet launched 2 weeks ago, Wilson told the silent room. "They'll reach Earth in exactly 30 days. Dr. Baker pushed her glasses up her nose. "But if they sent the fleet 2 weeks ago, who sent this warning, and why?" The answer was in the final section of the message. A small group within the empire, scientists and philosophers who disagreed with the policy of destroying young civilizations, had risked everything to warn Earth. They believed humans deserved a chance to prove themselves. They've included technical specs, said Engineer Paul Rodriguez, flipping through the dense pages of diagrams. "Some kind of advanced shield technology and, is this a weapon?" Wilson nodded. "They're giving us a fighting chance, but there's a catch." The warning was clear. Earth had to unite before the fleet arrived. Not just in words, but in action. All countries working together, all resources shared, all petty conflicts set aside. If humans could overcome their divisions and present a unified defense, they might survive. If not, they would join the 27 other civilizations the hegemony had wiped from existence. "Can we even build this tech in a month?" asked Rodriguez. Dr. Baker was already running calculations on her tablet. "Maybe, if we had every top scientist on the planet working together. If we had unlimited resources. If countries shared their most secret research." She looked up, her expression grim. "It would take a miracle." Wilson stood straighter. Decision made. "Then we'll make one happen." He walked to the secure communications terminal in the corner of the room. The red phone, direct line to the White House, hadn't been used in years. A thin layer of dust covered it. "This goes beyond national security," he told his team. "This is about the survival of our species." His hand hesitated over the phone. Once he made this call, nothing would ever be the same. Panic might spread. Wars might break out. Humanity might tear itself apart before the aliens even arrived, or humans might surprise everyone, including themselves. He picked up the phone. "This is Commander Alexander Wilson. Authorization code Delta 97 Tango. I need to speak to the President immediately. It cannot wait until morning." While he waited, Wilson looked at the star map showing the Empire's fleet moving steadily toward Earth. 17 enormous warships, each carrying enough firepower to crack a planet. Behind them, support vessels by the hundreds. The phone clicked as someone picked up. "Mr. President, I apologize for waking you," Wilson said, his voice steadier than he felt. "But everything has changed. I need you to call an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. Every world leader must be there. He paused, listening to the president's confused questions. No, sir, this isn't a joke. And no, it can't wait until morning. Wilson took a deep breath. We have 30 days before an alien fleet arrives to destroy Earth. Our only hope is to unite and build defenses using technology we've just received from friends we didn't know we had. The silence on the other end stretched for 10 long seconds. Yes, sir. I have proof. I'm sending the files to your secure server now. Wilson nodded to Dr. Baker, who began the transfer. Sir, I know how this sounds, but in 24 hours every astronomical observatory on the planet will be able to confirm the approach of the fleet. We don't have time to waste on disbelief. Wilson looked around at his team. The best minds in space communications now. The first humans to know that everything was about to change. Mr. President, I'm not exaggerating when I say this is the most important month in human history. Either we come together as one planet, or we don't survive at all. As he hung up the phone, Wilson wondered if humans were capable of such unity. Could centuries of conflict be set aside in just 30 days? He hoped so. Because somewhere out there in the darkness between stars, an alien armada was coming. And the clock was ticking. 14 days had passed since the alien warning. 14 precious days gone, with only 16 remaining before the alien fleet arrived. The Grand Hall of the United Nations buzzed with activity. Once used for long speeches and empty promises, it had been transformed into the command center for humanity's last stand. Hundreds of screens lined the walls. Scientists and military leaders from every nation huddled around tables covered with diagrams and prototypes. Dr. Samantha Green rubbed her tired eyes as she prepared to give her update. 2 weeks ago, she had been a physics professor at a small university. Now she led the global shield project that might save Earth, or fail and doom everyone. You look terrible, said Dr. Lee, her colleague from Beijing. When did you last sleep? Samantha smiled weakly. Tuesday, I think. What day is it now? Friday. She shrugged. Then it's been a while. At the front of the room, Secretary General Rodriguez banged his gavel. The Emergency Council will come to order. Dr. Green, please give us your report. Samantha walked to the podium, aware of the desperate hope in every face watching her. 200 of the most powerful people on Earth, presidents, prime ministers, generals, scientists, and all waiting for good news she wasn't sure she could give. The shield prototype works, she began, hearing the collective sigh of relief. Our tests show it can block 87% of energy weapons based on the designs from the warning message. Cheers erupted, but Samantha raised her hand. That's not good enough. At 87%, the remaining energy would still destroy our cities. We need at least 95% protection to survive. The room grew quiet again. Can we reach 95%? Asked the Russian president. Yes, said Samantha, but only with help from everyone. The teams from China, Russia, and India have developed improvements to the power systems. American and European scientists have refined the shield geometry. If we combine all these advances, we can reach 95% in 5 days. General Frank Martinez, the tough old soldier appointed to lead Earth's unified defense forces, leaned forward. And what about weapons? Shields are good, but we need to hit back. Samantha glanced at her team members spread throughout the room. This was the harder part. The gravity weapon is more difficult, she admitted. We've built a prototype based on the alien plans. It works, technically. It can create small tears in space itself. But to make it powerful enough to damage their ships, we need computing power beyond anything on Earth. Angry murmurs filled the room. The French president stood. Then we have no chance. If we cannot fight back, excuse me. A quiet voice from the back interrupted. All heads turned. A young man with messy hair and wrinkled clothes stood up. He looked out of place among the world leaders. Who are you? Demanded Martinez. Alan. Clark, sir. I'm a programmer from Ohio. He stepped forward, clutching a laptop. I've been working on the computing problem. Martinez looked at Samantha. Is he part of your team? No, she said, equally confused. How did you get in here? Alan looked embarrassed. Your assistant let me in when I showed her this. He opened his laptop and turned it toward the room. Complex code filled the screen. I've been listening to your problem, he continued. You don't need to build bigger computers. You need to use what already exists. Every phone, laptop, and tablet on Earth. Link them together with this software I've created, and you'll have the most powerful computer system ever built. Silence fell as the implications sank in. Billions of devices worldwide working together on the same problem. Dr. Lee rushed over to examine the code. After a minute, he looked up, eyes wide. This could work, he said. It's brilliant. Samantha studied the screen. Even if the code works perfectly, we'd need nearly every device on the planet to participate. That means convincing billions of people to install unknown software in an emergency. The security risks alone would be less important than extinction, interrupted the British Prime Minister. If this gives us a chance, we must take it. General Martinez walked to Alan. How fast could this be deployed? The software is ready now, Alan said. I've been working on it since the warning was announced. With government support to distribute it through app stores and official channels, we could reach most devices in 48 hours. Martinez turned to the world leaders. This is what the warning message meant. This is our test. Can we put aside our differences? Can we trust each other enough to survive? The room grew quiet. Decades of mistrust and competition couldn't disappear overnight. Each nation had its concerns. What if the software was used to spy? What if one country gained control of the system? What if it was all for nothing? The Chinese president stood first. China has 1.4 billion connected devices. We commit all of them to this effort. The American president joined her. The United States stands with China. One by one, they rose. Russia, India, the European Union, Brazil, Japan. Within minutes, every nation had committed to the plan. Samantha felt tears in her eyes. She had spent her career studying the physical universe, but she had always doubted human nature. Now, watching former enemies join hands, she wondered if perhaps the aliens had underestimated humanity after all. We have 16 days, she said, her voice stronger now. Let's make them count. Outside the UN building, crowds had gathered, watching the emergency meeting on giant screens. When the announcement came that every person on Earth would be asked to join the defense network, a cheer went up that could be heard inside the hall. Alan stood at the window, watching the crowds below. Will it be enough? He asked quietly. Samantha joined him. I don't know, she admitted. But for the first time since this started, I think we have a chance. Above them, hidden in the daylight sky, the alien fleet continued its approach. 16 days until they arrived. 16 days to prepare. 16 days to prove that humanity deserved to survive. Day 25. 5 days until the alien fleet arrived. Susan Hill stood in her backyard, pointing her daughter's small telescope at the night sky. All across the world, millions of people were doing the same thing. Looking for the first glimpse of the ships that had come to destroy them. Can you see them, Mom? 8-year-old Lily asked, bouncing on her toes. Susan shook her head. Not yet, honey. They're still very far away. She didn't tell her daughter that she hoped they would never see the ships. That would mean the aliens had gotten too close. Inside their house, like every home on Earth, their phones and computers hummed with activity. The global defense network now connected 97% of all electronic devices on the planet. 5 billion. People had willingly installed the software created by Alan Clark, the programmer from Ohio. Governments had put aside their secrets. Companies had opened their data centers. For the first time in history, humanity stood together. Susan checked her watch. Time for bed, Lily. You have school tomorrow. But what if the aliens come while I'm sleeping? Susan hugged her daughter close. The shield will protect us. Now go brush your teeth. As Lily ran inside, Susan looked up one more time. Somewhere up there, the most advanced weapons humans had ever built were preparing for battle. And beyond them, coming closer every minute, was an enemy that had destroyed 27 other worlds. 5 days. That was all the time they had left. Deep beneath the Swiss Alps, in the Global Defense Headquarters, Commander Lisa Chen stared at the main screen. Red dots showed the alien fleet entering the solar system. The massive ships were slowing down as they passed Neptune. "They're right on schedule," she said to no one in particular. The command center buzzed with activity. 100 people from 30 different nations worked at their stations. The room was the heart of Earth's defense system. From here they controlled the shield that now surrounded the planet, an invisible barrier of bent space that might be the only thing between humanity and extinction. "Commander Chen," called out Communications Officer Ryan Jones. "The Deep Space Array is picking up a signal. The aliens are broadcasting." Chen's heart raced. "Put it through. Use the translation system from the warning message." The alien message appeared on the main screen. "Civilization of Sol 3. We are the judgment of the galactic hegemony. Your species has been observed and found divisive, violent, and unstable. Cleansing will commence in 6 hours. Resistance is noted but futile. Your technological advancement is insufficient." A chill spread through the command center. The aliens weren't coming to talk. They were coming to destroy. Admiral Patricia Foster, Supreme Commander of Earth's Unified Forces, entered the room. Unlike everyone else, she looked calm. In her 30 years of military service, she had never lost a battle. Of course, she had never fought aliens before. "Send our response," Foster ordered. The message they sent back had been written by the IA, best diplomats on Earth. It explained how humanity had united after receiving the warning, how they now stood as one people, how they wished for peace but would defend themselves if necessary. It asked for recognition as a sovereign species with the right to choose their own path. Ryan Jones looked up from his console. "They've responded." "Admiral." The alien reply was short. "Irrelevant. Judgment has been made." Admiral Foster's face hardened. "So be it." She turned to the command center staff. "Begin final preparations. Activate the gravity weapon array. Alert all defense stations. We have 6 hours until they attack." Around the world, emergency alerts sounded on billions of devices. The message was simple. "Alien fleet approaching. 6 hours to engagement. Remain calm. Stay connected." In orbit, Earth's hastily built defense ships moved into position. They were small compared to the alien vessels, converted space stations and satellites equipped with the new weapons. They looked like toys against the approaching armada. "Doctor." Samantha Green and her team monitored the shield system from their lab in New York. The power readings were stable. The shield was at 96% strength, better than they had hoped for. "Will it be enough?" asked Alan Clark, who hadn't left Samantha's side since the UN meeting 11 days ago. She checked the numbers again. "It has to be." In the command center, Lisa Chen spoke softly to Admiral Foster. "This is really happening. Everything we are, everything humans have ever done, it all comes down to the next 6 hours." Foster nodded. "And whatever happens next, we face it together. For the first time ever, we truly stand as one people." The Admiral turned to the main communication panel. "Open a channel to all defense stations." She took a deep breath, knowing her next words would be heard by soldiers, scientists, and civilians all around the world. "This is Admiral Foster. The enemy will reach attack range in 6 hours. They believe we are weak because we have been divided. They believe we are primitive because our technology is young. They have destroyed 27 worlds before us." She paused, looking around at the faces watching her. Chinese, Russian, American, Indian, Nigerian, Brazilian, all waiting for her words. "But they have never faced humans before. We will show them what we can do when united. Today we fight, not as nations but as Earth. Stand ready. Foster out." The countdown to humanity's first interstellar battle had begun. The aliens attacked exactly when they said they would. Beams of bright energy shot from the alien ships, slicing through space toward Earth. When they hit the shield, they exploded into dazzling light shows. From the ground, people saw flashes, in the night sky like strange silent fireworks. Shields holding at 84%, called out Defense Officer Rick Barnes in the underground command center. Sweat dripped down his face as he read the numbers from his screen. They're testing us, looking for weak spots. Admiral Foster studied the tactical display. The alien fleet had spread out around Earth. Their ships moved together like dancers following perfect steps. Now we show them we aren't as helpless as they think, Foster ordered. Activate primary gravity weapons. Around the world, the networked, gravity displacement weapons powered up. These were Earth's secret weapon, devices that could bend space itself into deadly attacks. They drew power from billions of connected devices, from phones in pockets to computers in offices. Every human on the planet was now part of the defense. The weapons fired. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself rippled around three of the largest alien ships. The vessels stretched, twisted, and then imploded as artificial gravity crushed them from within. A cheer erupted in the command center. Humans had just destroyed 3 ships from the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. The alien response came fast and hard. New weapons fired, not at the shields, but at the code controlling them. They attacked with computer viruses more advanced than anything humans had ever seen. Shields failing in sectors 3 through 17, Barnes shouted. They're hacking our system. Around the world, the first alien weapons broke through. Precision strikes hit military bases and defense stations. Moscow, Beijing, Washington, all reporting direct hits. In her lab in New York, Dr. Samantha Green watched in horror as sections of the shield collapsed. Warnings flashed across her screens. The aliens weren't just attacking with energy weapons, they were attacking the shield's computer system. They're using quantum entanglement to bypass our security, she realized. They're attacking the code itself. Alan Clark typed frantically at his keyboard. Can we block it? Not with our current setup, Green admitted. But, she paused, an idea forming. What if we change the entire network? We could rebuild the shield's operating system while it's running. That's impossible, one of her team members said. So is building all this in a month, Green replied. We have to try. She grabbed her phone and called Admiral Foster. Admiral, the aliens are hacking our shield system. We need to update every GRA device in the network. Immediately. Foster frowned. How long will that take? If we had months, it would be easy, Green said. To do it now, while under attack, we need everyone to approve the update manually. Every person with a connected device would need to accept it within minutes. That's billions of people, Foster said. It's impossible. Green took a deep breath. It's our only chance. Foster turned to Communications Officer Ryan Jones. Send the emergency alert. Every screen, every device, now. Around the world, every connected device displayed the same message. Earth is under attack. Accept defense system update. Your device will be temporarily unavailable. Approve now to help save Earth. In homes and offices, in schools and hospitals, billions of people saw the message. Would they trust it? Would they act in time? Susan Hill was hiding in her basement with daughter Lily when their phones buzzed with the alert. Mom, what does it mean? Lily asked, her voice small with fear. Susan read the message, remembering all the warnings about clicking unknown links, about approving updates from strangers. But this was different. This was Earth's last stand. It means we need to help. She said, pressing accept. Lily did the same with her tablet. Across the planet, the same scene played out in countless homes. People reading the alert, understanding what was at stake, and choosing to trust. In the command center, Ryan Jones watched the numbers rise. 1 billion approvals, 2 billion, 3. A new alien attack broke through the failing shields. The command center shook as explosions rocked the mountain above them. 4 billion, 5 billion, 6. Jones continued, his voice steady despite the chaos. Dr. Green stared at her monitor as the new code deployed. Would it be fast enough? Would it work at all? 7 billion approvals, Jones announced. 93% of all devices. It's the fastest mass action in human history. The shield stabilized, the gravity weapons recalibrated. and Earth struck back with everything it had. The next attack caught the aliens completely by surprise. 50 gravity weapons fired at once, tearing apart the fabric of space around the enemy fleet. 5 more massive ships imploded. The smaller vessels scattered, their perfect formation breaking apart. "They're retreating," Barnes shouted. "Look, they're pulling back." On the main screen, they watched as the alien ships turned away from Earth, accelerating toward the outer solar system. A cheer went up in the command center. Cheers erupted in every lab, every military base, every home where people watched the battle on their screens. Humanity had done the impossible. They had fought back against the most advanced fleet in the galaxy, and won. Admiral Foster raised her hand for quiet. "This isn't over," she warned. "They're regrouping, not surrendering. Be ready for the next attack." But the next attack never came. Instead, a new message appeared on Earth's communication systems. It wasn't from the military fleet, it came from somewhere else in the alien alliance. Sol 3 civilization. Combat suspended. Request negotiation. Foster looked around at her team, their faces tired but hopeful. "It seems," she said quietly, "that someone else in their empire wants to talk." The final hegemony ships disappeared from Earth's sensors, leaving behind the wreckage of what had once been the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. In the Global Defense Headquarters, tired staff watched in amazed silence. They had done what no other species had ever done. They had faced the technological might of 17 advanced civilizations and won. Admiral Foster turned to Communications Officer Ryan Jones. "Are they really gone?" "Not gone, Admiral. Just pulled back. And they're still broadcasting. Put it on screen." The message that appeared was different from earlier threats. It wasn't from the military commander, but from someone called the Hegemony Council, the leaders of the alien alliance. Sol 3 civilization. Combat suspended. Request negotiation. 6 hours later, Admiral Foster sat before a large screen in the UN building. On the other side of the connection were the aliens, strange beings with forms unlike anything humans had imagined. This was humanity's first true meeting with another intelligent species. "Your resistance was unexpected," said the alien leader. "No single planet civilization has ever survived our cleansing operation." Foster's reply was simple. "We are humanity. Underestimating us is a mistake many have made." What followed wasn't surrender, but negotiation. Earth had proven itself stronger than anyone predicted. The aliens explained that the warning that had saved Earth had come from a group within the hegemony who believed in cooperation rather than destruction. With Earth's demonstration of both advanced technology and unprecedented unity, that group's voice had grown stronger. The terms were established. Earth would join the galactic community not as a conquered world, but as an equal member. Human innovation, particularly the global computing system that had allowed one planet to defeat an armada, was recognized as a remarkable achievement. 1 year later, Dr. Samantha Green stood on the observation deck of Earth's first faster-than-light spaceship, watching her home planet grow smaller behind her. Beside her stood a tall, blue-skinned alien named Xalven, the one who had sent the warning that changed everything. "Why did you risk so much to warn us?" she asked, a question that had been on her mind since first contact. The alien's translation device converted its musical speech to English. "Because the hegemony had forgotten what makes civilization worth protecting. They saw only your conflicts, your divisions. I saw your potential." Green smiled as Earth became a small blue dot behind them. "And now? What does the galaxy think of us now?" "Now," Xalven replied, "they see what I always did. A species that can set aside thousands of years of differences in just days when truly threatened. A people who can create technological miracles when properly motivated. The hegemony wanted obedience. What the galaxy truly needed was humanity's creativity, determination, and courage." The ship accelerated toward the heart of the galaxy, carrying the first human ambassadors to a much larger community. Behind them, Earth continued to change. Former enemies now worked together. Borders became cultural distinctions rather than divisions. The attack that was meant to end human civilization had instead united it and propelled it to the stars. The Galactic Empire had targeted Earth, but a single warning had changed everything, not just for humanity, but for the galaxy itself. The end.